And welcome to Late Night Love, where we dive into the beautiful, messy, and sometimes heartbreaking world of relationships. I'm Jazz, she's Lovey, and tonight we are talking about family, those intricate, unbreakable ties that shape who we are. Family dynamics are rarely simple, whether it's a toddler repeating words from a fight you thought was forgotten, a child grieving the loss of their best friend, or the shock of discovering your daughter's hidden social media account. These moments can leave us feeling lost, guilty, or even heartbroken. In this episode, we'll explore the challenges of navigating these tough situations and share practical advice for fostering healthier connections. Because at the end of the day, family is worth the work. So settle in, grab a cozy blanket, and let's get real about love, loss, and everything in between. So yeah, Lovey, family relationships are often complex.
Yes.
Filled with strange and intricate dynamics that I don't even think families sometimes aware that are at play. You know, some of the dynamics that happen and why they're happening. I sometimes think that even we as family who've kind of experienced these things, you know, one person's traumatic event is another person's, you know, I don't even remember that thing. It happens.
It's all the time.
Yeah, it's just.
My sister and I had a tumultuous childhood. Our father was a fall down drunk, but he left when I was 3.5. Carolyn was 6 weeks old, and he came back when 10 years later at my request. And that was another whole adventure with Dad. And that was another chapter. And I kind of see why he stayed away. He just couldn't do it. He couldn't do the day-to-day, be there for somebody else.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
He didn't have it in him.
So oddly enough, maybe him staying away was, you know, him actually doing the best thing for his family in this strange.
Well, it took me 60 years
to come to that
of thinking about that, going through with Dad, you know, and that lately I have come to realize it was better. It was better. It really was.
Yeah, and it's hard to know. You know, it's hard to know, but two, all right, this person has been this way since, well, the beginning of time, essentially. And so at some point, some people can't or won't. Who knows the difference? You know, what's the difference between can't and won't?
He was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And so am I, but I decided to stop, and I got help through Alcoholics Anonymous. And he just never could swallow the program, you know, doing all that work. Nobody wants to look at themselves under scrutiny with great detail, you know, their life and their mistakes that they've made and the wrongs that they've done and go make amends. Who wants to do that?
Can't we just forget about it? And that's what, yeah.
But something happens during that process. There's a healing that happens.
That's what the process is for. Yeah.
Yes.
Is to kind of force you to the point where you can start to heal. I mean, that's the whole point of the process.
Yes.
Make this so painful that you have no choice but to heal. You know, it's painful, but you come out stronger at the end of it.
Yes.
Just like anything. It's like you get hardened through fire. And I think everybody, you know, my kids all have us, for the most part, have a good, strong relationship. They're still close, you know, they're still close to this day. They still game with each other, which is nice, you know. But, you know, me and my sister, we fought like cats and dogs until we were 35 or something like that. And at the same time, we both just kind of gave up on the whole thing at the same time. It wasn't like it wasn't like a mutual decision. It was just a decision we both made roughly the same time, all on our own, which is so weird. Yeah, it's not that we never loved each other, but we used to. Yeah, she'd drive me crazy. She'd torture me. Even though I got to have some of her students come to my work this week.
And what did they have to say?
That my sister is stern. Is the is the word I get. She's stern. Says yes. She tortured me when I was at your age, the same way she's torturing you now. So now you guys know what I went through.
And you lived with her.
Yeah. But that's just it. Family dynamics can change. No one would have thought that me and my sister, I'm not gonna say we're close, but we because we don't go hang out or anything. But if either one of us ever needed anything, it wouldn't even be a question, right? We'd both be there. So do you need much more than that? I suppose.
Well, some people do.
Some people do it. Clearly, we don't.
But you two don't.
Clearly, us two don't. Other people do, and I respect that. But we don't. Every relationship can be different. And I think the point of our, the relationship between you and your sister, you guys were close for the longest time. For 10 years, you guys would talk like an hour or two every day. Well, what the heck do you people have to talk about that much?
It was a lot of repeat. It was a lot of repeat.
I can't think of that much I have to say. And I'm a TV host. So this is kind of, but you guys have that close relationship that that communication is important to you, and and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's also nothing wrong with the way others do it. No,
it's whatever works for you.
Whatever works for you and what you need.
It's personality types, needs, time of life. There's a lot of different factors.
All right. So before we move on, there is the one question we should probably try to cover a little bit with 4th of July, family picnics, barbecues are coming up. And we are living in a, shall we say, a divided world these days, right? And so a lot of people are wondering, how do you navigate these complex family dynamics in a complex political world when what most people really want to do is go eat and have some hot dogs and hamburgers, right? That's what most people want to do. They want to go spend some time with their family, talk about weather, sports, and school and health issues. That's what people talk about when they get families to get together, right? It's weather, sports, jobs, those kind of things. No one wants to talk about politics. So here's my suggestion. Don't
even do it.
It's not worth it right now.
Not now.
No. The world will play out how the world's going to play out. And your conversation in amongst your family isn't going to change it one bit. I mean, unless your family runs in the halls of power, you're having a discussion about the politics of the day isn't going to do your community any good. Not in your house, not on the day where people want to get together and celebrate a 4th of July or a family picnic or a family reunion or somebody's graduation. Park the politics at home. My suggestion.
We do.
You can, and if other people want to have that conversation, let them. You don't have to participate.
You don't have to.
Go have a conversation with someone who wants to talk about the weather. Go talk to the kid about, learn some slang from the youngsters. I actually watched a speech yesterday, and this is going to be totally off topic. Some guy came in to talk to a graduating class of high school seniors, and he says he's a language expert. And he says, so he came in and he started giving his speech in the language of, what is it, Gen Z or Gen Alpha? I have no idea what he was talking about. He took a speech and he converted it into the language that these kids speak these days, the 17, 18-year-olds. It makes me feel old. Now, these kids are laughing because, some 35-year-old dude sitting up there talking, 17-year-old slang is just funny.
It is. Let them have their slang. We had our slang.
Well, his point was it was a language thing, and he was a language expert, and so he essentially did what he did. He went and learned their language. And he says it's actually it's a dialect of English. Now it's Gen Z, we had our own Gen Z, Gen X's, every Gen X has their own, totally tubular, man. We had all kinds of these goofy things. So anyway, I'm not sure what that had to do with navigating family relationships, but it caught my attention.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up.
So do we have any practical advice? Yes, we did. I did give you practical advice. We did. Yeah. Shut up about politics.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it's not going to do any good right now anyway. If you want to wait till next summer when there's, elections coming up. Leave it alone for a little while. That's my suggestion.
Good advice.
Okay, so we got our questions for the night. What do we got, Lovey?
My toddler repeated something from a fight we had months ago. I feel so awful. How do we rectify this? Sleep in the other room.
You don't. There's nothing to rectify. Children will repeat what they say. It just is. If you want them to not repeat it, give them other things to repeat. The more you make a deal of it, the bigger it's going to imprint on them. So shut up and let it go. I've done this many, many times. I know the answer to this question. There is only thing you can do is let it go. Anything you try to do to rectify it actually fortifies it. So stop it. Just la 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 la. Hear no evil, man. That's on this one. Saying. I'm not wrong. Okay, so what's next?
My son's best friend passed away. He's 17 and he's inconsolable. They don't know what to do.
There's nothing you really can do. He's going to be essentially inconsolable for a little while. He lost his best friend. And he's 17. That's essentially his whole life. It's a pillar of his life. It's someone who's his running mate, his partner. It's, all these things that you are at 17. So he lost a big chunk of his life. And so he's going to be inconsolable. All you can do is be there for him. That's it. Make sure he's got food and water. Make sure he knows he's loved. If he needs to do something to handle his emotions, make sure he can go to the funeral or whatever he needs to do to get through this. You just have to be there for him. That's it. Sadly, there's no magic. There's no simple way through this. You just have to make sure he has the support system and access to it for the next 6 months. That's it. I wish I had better news for you. Okay.
I had my kid go into the store by herself to buy something.
Okay.
She's 8.
Okay.
This parent, now this is bragging. She just feels she found the key to self-confidence for her child. The little girl was just beaming.
Yeah.
And she had to show this parenting hack.
Hey, what do we say? Celebrate your successes.
That's right. So that's why I put this in here.
Celebrate your wins. I need to remind people that back at we were 8 years old, our parents would give us a note. Please give 2 packs of whatever. You could go buy cigarettes at 8 years old.
If you had a note.
Your mom was sitting out of the store to buy cigarettes. So we live such a different world. But take your success. Yes, you gave your daughter a nice independent moment and she feels competent and successful, and yeah, congratulations. That's my answer to that. Okay.
My kid is embarrassed by me. how she dresses. She's a sweatpants and t-shirts mom, pulls her hair into a bun. She just doesn't have time. She's just not into fashion. It's not her thing.
Yeah.
She just wants to be comfortable.
Yeah, well,
You
most parents are embarrassed by the way their kids dress, so
know.
say it's retaliation for the rest of mankind. No, you're not gonna get much. The kid's not gonna get much sympathy from me. So, my fashion sense, yeah. So that let your kid be embarrassed by you. That's my suggestion. They'll get over it, or they won't. On the plus side, they won't ask you to take you places. So they won't ask you to take them.
Can you wait in the car?
Yeah. No. No, if they ask you to wait in the car, oh no, not now. I was going to let you guys go off and do your own thing, but not now. I was going to be nice to you, but now I'm not. Okay. What's next?
Found my daughter's horrific hidden social media account.
What is her daughter some kind of a troll or something?
Rants, and she'll pick on people, and she'll pictures that are suggestive. She's 12.
This is one of these things where we need Anthony to have a mic, because this is Mr. Internet Troll over here at 12 years old. So he's the one who could actually, probably give us a better answer to this. Because here's the thing. If you try to use technology to restrict her use of the social media account and things like, you're just going to teach her how to circumvent those tools, right? You're actually going to just teaching her how to do it. And so the bigger issue, I think, here is, why does she have a need to go out onto online and be mean to people? That's the thing to deal with. Forget that she's got a hidden social media account for now. Why is she feeling the need to go off and burn the world down? Or at least her little corner of it. What's she angry about? 12-year-old boys do it for fun. 12-year-old girls do it because they're angry. Unless she's a tomboy. But general rule of thumb. A 12-year-old boy will do it just because. 12-year-old girls rarely do things like that just because. Not never. So there might not be a reason. She just may be going through a phase, or she may just be mean. It's entirely possible. Or she could be bullying bullies. She could be the anti-bully thing, Someone used to do that.
Mm.
So, but it all starts with, conversation, I guess. And say why. Find out why would be my first step. Because you just solving the technology side of the problem doesn't help. You've got to actually solve the desire problem. Okay.
Is my son really the only boy without a Nintendo? He's 8.
It may be the only boy in his class without a Nintendo, or may feel to him like half his class may have a little Nintendo, and so it feels like to him he's the only one that doesn't have one. But tough is my suggestion. He'll grow thicker skin.
We didn't have a lot of things growing up, and we were poor.
And, well, it's not even that. It's just some parents don't feel that 8-year-olds should have their own Nintendos.
Okay.
But there's nothing wrong with that either. Whether I agree with it or not is irrelevant. Whatever the reasoning is, whether they don't have the money or they just don't think it's appropriate yet, stick with it. Stick with your parenting plan. It's my suggestion. All right, and that brings us to the end of tonight's episode. Family relationships are a journey. Sometimes they're bumpy, sometimes they're beautiful, but they are almost always worth it. Whether you're figuring out how to mend after a tough moment, like your child's repeating something from the fight, just ignore it. Or you're helping your kid through the heartbreak of losing a friend. Remember, you're not alone. We're all learning as we go. And ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
So take a deep breath, give yourself some grace, and know that every step you take towards understanding and connection makes a difference. If this episode had resonated with you, Please share it with someone who might need a little extra love tonight. And don't forget to subscribe for more heartfelt conversations. Until next time, keep loving, keep growing. And remember, family is where the heart finds its home. Have a good night. And please remember to love everybody.